Welcome to Blooming Wildwood Homestead. Today we are attempting to answer the question, how do you get everything done? Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Coffee Talk. Grab your coffee, tea, water, whatever you're drinking this morning, and let's dive into this topic. First of all, if I had an absolute prescriptive formula for how to get everything done on your homestead, I would probably be famous by now and you would already know what my formula was. I don't have a definitive answer to that question, but I do have some ideas of ways that we can work towards accomplishing everything that we want to get done on the homestead. This is kind of the age-old question. I feel like many people are struggling with feelings of overwhelm and just everything that they want to accomplish and not feeling like there is enough time to get everything completed. And it can be really overwhelming, almost to the point of putting you in this position where it's almost a paralyzing sort of deal and you're not making any progress towards the goals that you have for your homestead. So I want to explore 3 ideas that I think will be really helpful as you're trying to tackle all of the projects that you have on your homestead. And these are 3 things that I'm working on as well in order to kind of accomplish more and manage my time a little bit better. That's one of my goals for this year. And I think that these 3 things can be helpful both to myself and I'm hoping to you as well. The first thing is to have a plan and prioritize what is most important. We've talked a lot on here about using the winter months to make your plan and to do a lot of that planning piece. But now that the days are getting a little bit longer, I'm noticing myself feeling like I need to get out and be doing more and actually acting upon these plans. So it's important to think about what you've planned, but then also prioritize what is most important. I think of this quote, we talk a little bit about it with our writers, that a writer's work is never done, it's only just begun. And I can't find who that quote is attributed to, but it's so true when we're working on writing projects, but also true in the context of the homestead. A homesteader's work is never done, it's only just begun. There's always going to be more to do. Even though you might accomplish one task or finish one project, another project and another task is going to come up. There's always going to be more to do. I think about those people who end up, living in the cities and they just don't have things and projects to work on. And I've heard people say, oh, I was so bored, or I spent the weekend just being bored, I had nothing to do. And I honestly can't really relate to that because I feel like there is always something to do on the homestead or on the farm. And even when I had my urban location, I had things that I was working on, projects that I was doing. And so it always felt like there was so much more to do. And since we know that there's so much to do, it's just helpful to have a plan, but then also to prioritize so we can go ahead and move forward in that way. My second tip for getting more done would be to break larger projects into smaller parts. Part of what makes things feel so overwhelming is the enormity of the project. I talked a little bit last week about my raspberry patch and the things that I'm trying to do in that area and how the project is really large, and sometimes it can feel like kind of an overwhelming feeling because I'm not sure how I'm going to accomplish everything and how I'm going to get it done. But it has really helped me to break things into smaller parts. On this day, I'm just going to work on this smaller part and get this accomplished. And the next day that I go to work on it, I'm gonna work on this small part and get this accomplished. And before you know it, you're seeing more and more of it accomplished and more get finished. And my third tip is something that I'm working on and something I want to challenge myself to do during the month of February. In the month of January, I was really focused on the pantry challenge, and I'm going to continue working through my pantry items and continue to keep my grocery bill low cost and really try to work on eating from the freezer and the pantry. And I'm going to continue doing that for the month of February. But my next challenge that I want to move towards is doing something to advance my goals or my project every day. So some of my larger projects have to do with gardening. Yours might have to do with animal husbandry. Maybe there's some other large project that you're working on around your homestead. Whatever your large goal is or whatever you're working towards for the year, I want to encourage you to try and do something, even if it's something small, to advance that project every day. So for example, my main focus right now is working on the garden. As the daylight hours have gotten a little bit longer and we're starting to just kind of feel that spring itch, it's getting a little sunnier and a little lighter, and so I'm feeling like, oh, there's so much to be done. I've got to get out there. I want to be doing these things. But it can be challenging when you still don't have a lot of daylight hours after you get home from work, or maybe you don't have any daylight hours, depending on where you're at and what you're doing. And so it can be hard to feel like you're making progress towards your goals. But we know if we save everything for the weekend, then it's hard to advance your goals as well. So we really want to be doing something every day, even if it's something small. So for the example of gardening, it could be that one day I'm working on purchasing seeds, or maybe I'm organizing my seeds. Maybe I'm planting some items and getting some things started. Maybe it's a matter of building some raised beds or building your garden beds up. So you could be going through that process of planning or breaking it into smaller steps, and every day maybe you're doing a small part of that larger project. Maybe it is purchasing some of the supplies. So when we kind of look at supply chain issues and supply shortages, it's good to think ahead about things that you might need over the course of the year. And so maybe you're working on putting together a list of items that you want to acquire or that you need in order to fulfill your goal that you're working towards. Maybe it's getting in extra shade cloth, or you know that you need to replace some of the tools that you have, or you need to purchase some new tools. Or maybe you're working on installing a greenhouse and you know you're going to need some different materials involved in that. Or maybe you need to get the soil so that you have it ready for garden beds. Whatever you can do, doing a small thing towards those goals. Maybe it's just calling up the landscaping place to see if they can deliver that soil to your house, or whatever the case might be. But taking a small step every single day. Maybe it's reading some of your book that you have available to continue to build your knowledge and build your skills. There's a wide variety of things that can be done. But I think if we try to do something every day, even if it's small, before too long, you're going to see progress and you're going to start building momentum in whatever it is that you're trying to work towards. So my goal for the month of February is to try and touch something in the garden or something to do with the garden every single day. And that can encompass, you know, a wide variety of things, but I want to be making moves to do something that's going to propel that forward every single day. If that's something that is interesting to you, if you are someone who needs a little bit of extra accountability and you want to kind of check in periodically and let us know how you're doing, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below, and let's just try to be a way to encourage each other. I really am thankful for the encouragement that has come through doing the pantry challenge, and I think there's something very motivating about knowing that other people are working towards similar goals that you have. Even though our main goal might not be the same, we might all be working on something different, having that goal of trying to touch a little part of that or work through a small step of that every single day can be something that we can all unite around and help to motivate each other in that area. If today's video was helpful to you, please don't forget to click like, and I would love to have you subscribe and be part of our community here at Blooming Wildwood Homestead. And until next time, bye everyone.